Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm Natalie. This is Scientology Life After a Cult. Welcome, everybody. We're going to be getting into some Scientology secrets today and some Scientology holiday stuff. Aaron Smith-Levin, Lisa Marie Presley, secret FBI files, cult expert Rick Allen Ross, which, by the way, I interviewed him a couple months ago. Check it out, you guys. I'm going to probably go through and do some shorter videos from that long video I did with Rick Allen Ross because I loved it so much. Hello, everybody in the live chat. Thank you for being here. Big thank you to the members for being here. Hello. Thank you so much. Oh, we got the moderators here helping out. I'm loving it. Good morning, everybody. Fire and Ice is here. We can get started. Cricket Cinema is here. Now, if you were watching this in the United States, it is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and it feels like a Friday in a way, which is saying a lot because for me, Fridays aren't really Fridays because there's really not a day that's not a work day for me. But being that I love what I do, it doesn't always feel like work. But I'm getting Friday vibes. I feel like that's what this is giving. Anna from Canada, what do you think? Does it feel like Friday for you guys? Miss Diva, good morning. Jersey Jan, I'm so glad you're here. Helena as well. Eat more pizza. Doesn't it? Does it feel like Friday to you guys? Church of Scientology? It's weird. It's probably because it's the holiday. Okay. Okay, right, Nolo? I almost said Aloha Friday and I had to stop and think. Okay, I'm glad. It is not just me. Even Power Lies to Paralyze says, definitely Friday vibes here. It really is. And we have some fun, massively culty, disturbing stuff to go over, but some fun stuff too, you guys, having to do with Scientology and the holidays. We are going to look at all of it. You're not getting the vibes, angry in Texas? Just feels like a Wednesday. Yeah, Vanessa says definitely Friday vibes. Yeah. Anna, so much cleaning to do. Girl, I hear you. I'm picking up Feral Cheryl from the airport this afternoon, and I still need to clean the bathroom. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing that probably after this. I'm just over here living this incredibly glamorous life. I don't know if you guys knew this. Cleaning bathrooms, catching mice in the garage. Avoiding cleaning up leaves in my yard. Feral Cheryl doesn't know, but that's actually what she's going to help me with. I'm joking. We all know I'm just going to leave it. We all know I'm going to leave it. I only know how to use, well, anyways, it's this leaf blower, but it doesn't feel like it's very strong because it's battery operated. Let's get dirty with occult news. Itchy Thetans. We're about to get really dirty. Sounds like Sea Org chores. Oh, yeah. Yeah, except I can stop and take a break if I want. Yes, I can. But I'm going to get it done. I'm glad you guys are here. We're going to kick it off. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. And we're going to start with the secret FBI files of Lisa Marie Presley, former Scientologist Lisa Marie Presley. And I find this very interesting because on one hand, I'm like, wow, that's interesting that that's what was in her secret FBI files. And I didn't know about some of the stuff we're going to go over. Then the other part of me is like, okay, the FBI can look into that, but where are we at on Scientology? I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a little butthurt about it. I have very mixed feelings about it. Very mixed feelings about it. SP Crusader says, aloha all here with Wednesday hump day vibes. I can get behind that. I really can. So let's talk about this Lisa Marie Presley situation here. Lisa Marie Presley, secret FBI files. What is happening here? Hold on, you guys. What is going on? Did I click on an ad? Oh my gosh. There we go. I'm going to X out of that. Oh my gosh. I am like seriously doing boomer things right now. All right, let's get on with this here. I don't know why that's showing up there. Let me try and just refresh this. No offense to any boomers. I am an older Gen X, but I feel like sometimes I relate to the boomers, especially times like now. What does this button do? That's right, eat more pizza. I need tech support, but I'm my only tech support. Vanessa, good point. Good news is you can use real cleaning tools in the bathroom versus rags, vinegar, and what was it? Ammonia. Ammonia, exactly. Isn't it crazy that they let us use ammonia in this organization? some of the stuff they were so like, you can't have scents, and but then, use some very powerful products, but with no gloves or a well-ventilated area. That is one thing I do love about cleaning my own house now is I get to use what I want. And sometimes I do like a more natural product. I do. I actually do use quite a few of those. But I also am not afraid to bring out the bleach, put on some gloves, and like really get into it, especially after, I was dealing with a mice situation like this last week or so. Anyways, I'm so getting distracted. I am all over the place. Woohoo, Gen X in the house. I got a feeling most of you are. In fact, I look at my analytics. While I'm reading this article, I mean, of course, I want you guys to pay attention, but also put a 1 in the chat if you're a Gen X, 2 if you are a boomer, and 3 for other, which probably means millennial. Gen X number 1, 2 boomer, 3 millennial. I'm curious because I feel like I know for most of you, and I think you are primarily Gen Xers. And then we have some, beautiful boomers and some millennials in there. Stace, I'm like tongue twisted here. You're a millennial? That's awesome. I love the mix. I love the mix. Cece, I forget that you're a boomer, but I'm 54. So again, I'm an older Gen X. Oh, okay. Okay. See, lot of Gen X here. And some boomers. I love it. And Jin Lei is an older millennial. I love millennials. Okay, I know, you know what? It's a holiday, so I'm gonna let myself get distracted, okay? I love speaking with the multiple generations and sometimes even about the same thing. If you ask a question of a boomer and then a Gen X and a millennial and even like a Gen Z, and the differences in answers you can get just amazes me. It really does. But I do feel like we are mostly Gen X here. Let me get some good boomers. Greg, you're a Gen X. Okay. Vanessa, you and me. I'm a super old millennial. I think I missed the boomer category by 6 or 8 years. Cricket Cinema's a boomer. Nice. Fire and Ice, way older than you. Don't know what I am. Probably a boomer, but looks like you're coming from Canada there too. I see the little Canadian flag. Danielle, elder millennial. I feel like I'm going to add like elder Gen X to my LinkedIn or something, or my description, maybe here on YouTube. Elder Gen X. I just feel like it just, gives me a little bit more like Natalie is the elder Gen X of the community. I'm not the oldest though. I'm not, that would probably be Tori. Gen X boomer. Okay, I love it. Keep it coming, you guys. Keep it coming when we talk some Lisa Marie Presley here. Dang, this my heart breaks for this family. The Presley family. But listen to this. This is why the FBI was like up in her business. So says Lisa Marie Presley was drowning in plenty of battles before her death. A secret FBI file can now reveal the only daughter of the king of rock and roll was dealing with everything from death threats to a stalker to even an extortion scheme. Radar Online can reveal. It's not like the poor girl had enough going on, the loss of her dad, all the fame and everything that comes with it. Now let's add extortion and stalking. A 115-page FBI dossier. Is that how you say it? Dossier. I wonder if the FBI has a dossier on me. Probably not. I really am just not that exciting. Even my time in Scientology. Actually, wait. I take it back because of my connection to Mark David Chapman. My name probably is in some FBI file somewhere. That is probably true. Okay, so in the threat, so this is what happened. In this dossier, it comes out, now it's heavily redacted, but the file reveals that the FBI was investigating a male death threat aimed at the 54-year-old and Michael Jackson, who Presley was married to from 94 to 96. So that's when this was going on. But in the threat, the unknown suspect claimed to be a relative of Elvis and threatened to his famous residence, Graceland, as well as other properties attached to the legendary singer, if Presley and her brood didn't agree to hold a family conference. How bizarre is that? The suspect reportedly said, "You should have never married Michael," because of course she was married to Michael Jackson. It was never meant to be. Now it's going to end with you losing what you value dearly, your kids. What in the world? I mean, this is insane, obviously. But I got to tell you guys, it did make me think a little bit about like how sometimes people feel like they can, have a say in who you're friends with or who you're having a relationship with. And the bigger you go up the scale of influence or celebrity, it seems that there's just more intensity with that. And maybe people who just aren't, maybe are struggling mentally. Because why would you feel so passionate about who Lisa Marie Presley was married to that you got to go make a huge threat like that and end up on this, in this FBI dossier? I don't get it. I don't get it. So it goes on to say, at the time, the suspect seemed to know everything about Presley, including her personal phone numbers when she's staying in New York at Trump Tower, even numbers at her mother Priscilla's house. How does that happen? I mean, getting the personal numbers of people like Lisa Marie Presley and her mom. How does it happen? Per Scientology audit, tell me. Hey, girl, hey, how does it happen? Where are you finding that? Especially in the 90s, right? Because this was like 94, 96. I can't wrap my head around it. A source shared she even surrounded herself with her own security rather than rely on Michael's, and added that Presley hid out in a gated community in the Hollywood Hills. I mean, do you really blame her? Of course she's hiding out. The insider said Presley was nervous as a kitten during the ordeal. However, the FBI did end up tracking down the suspect, who they noted did not appear to be dangerous. Did not, makes all kinds of threats, but does not appear to be dangerous. Despite the positive update, the threats against Presley's life continued. And in 1996, a racist, vulgar man vowed, quote, he would kill Presley and Jackson during his next business trip to Los Angeles after she rejected several gifts he had sent her. The man backed off after the FBI warned him about the serious consequences of those types of threats, and he was convinced to stop the harassment. Yeah, I bet. I don't know, the FBI coming to your door and being like, hey, maybe you want to stop harassing Lisa Marie Presley and Michael Jackson. That might get you to, to do it. To stop. Style Audit 1A, note hiding out inside of residing in. I know, I feel a little bit like that's just some media speak too. That'd be like, me, Natalie Webster hiding out in her Minnesota home versus, yeah, I live here. Although sometimes I feel like I'm hiding out. But, I got to close off the world at the end of the day. The blinds get shut. Sometimes I feel like I'm hiding out, but I'm not. But I am. I don't know. Interesting thing with having left a cult where they used to track you down, they come find you, even as a non-C organization member. When I was an everyday public Scientologist, they call them public, but if Scientology wants to sound like a church, they call themselves parishioners. But in Scientology, we're called public if we're not on staff or in the C organization. And it really just like, you get used to hiding out in your own home. I mean, my kids, we did drills. When people came to the door, and I don't care if you were Scientology, which 99% of the time it was Scientology, coming to ask for money, or you're the Jehovah's Witnesses. My kids had it down tight for years. Doorbell rings, drill, boom, everybody hides behind the couch. And we would hide. And this was my best day in Scientology, okay? So I know Scientologists do this, and they hide, and they got a thing, a lot of them, about the doorbell. I know I did for a long time. Interestingly, I would get all this anxiety if somebody would come to the door. I think I've shared this with you guys. And when I went and protested Scientology in Clearwater earlier this year in April, when I went with my Tony, and we met up with Aaron, and Jenna was there, and Liz Gale was there, and of course George. I met Farrell Cheryl, the Clearwater crew, Lori Plays, Kelly Copter. And after that, that no longer like that. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I just know that after that trip, somebody coming to the door now it's an annoyance because I'm like, why are you coming to my door if I don't know you're coming? But it used to, like I said, freak me out. I felt like I had to hide. Like someone would ring the doorbell and I would hide or go get Tony. It was ridiculous. But I'm happy to say that was resolved for some reason while protesting Scientology. So obviously it was tied. I mean, you guys analyze this for me in the chat. You guys tell me. You're so much more articulate explaining to me my own crazy. After I protested at Flag, for some reason, that fear was gone. And I think it's because I'm no longer afraid of Scientology showing up at my door or anything like that. I went to Scientology's home and knocked on their door. I turned the tables. I think that was the key. And every time I show up and protest at a Scientology organization, I think I've done 4 or 5 of them now, I feel like I'm taking back some of my power. Each time I feel it makes me stronger and stronger. But I still think people should not show up unannounced. It's just 2024. I feel like we don't do that anymore. We have cell phones. And if you're just showing up, it's probably because you want some money or something like that, or want me to vote for someone. And that's just not okay. So Lisa Marie Presley, that's the whole deal with that there. Now, do you guys remember when I interviewed Rick Allen Ross? I had just mentioned this a couple months ago here on the channel. Me and Taz, I'm glad you're here. Even if you're late, you can catch up. You can catch up. Becky says you faced your fears. Now Scientology hides from you. Ah, I like that. Thank you, Becky. Gia, good Natalie, so proud. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sharona, the registrar is coming. The registrar is coming. Hide from the reg. And the registrar in Scientology is the person who's going after your money. Mock says, you pop the lid off the pressure cooker of fear and chose power. Yes. I didn't think a lot of that door thing was, I mean, I knew it was tied to Scientology to a degree. I just didn't realize how much it was. How much it was. Remart says, I was just typing that. Once you stood up to Scientology and got in the face, you lost that fear. Yeah. I think you guys are totally right. Yep. Jinlei, I think you just nailed it, Natalie. You're not afraid of facing them anymore. You've learned your strength. Very much so. And I'm going to show you guys something coming up here. We're going to look at some clips that's going to blow your mind when we do this side by side, as far as Scientology losing their power, losing their reach. SP Crusader says, once I protested my local org, the fear of door was gone. Confronting your abusers is hard, but so worth it. Yes. Okay. So I'm not the only one then. I'm SP Crusader. I'm assuming, well, you may or may not be a former Scientologist, but yeah, if I think that is a thing. It is such a thing. Very much so. I'm all interested in your guys' comments now. Okay, focus, Natalie, focus. What are we doing? Rick Allen Ross. Rick Allen Ross, cult expert. Oh, you guys, if you don't, I gotta find that video and I should link it below. The interview that I did with him. So he is on Wired now, and he's answering all these cult questions. This is so awesome. Now, we're going to look at a clip from this, but gosh, he really answers some great ones, some really good ones. And Rick Allen Ross is not just somebody who has stood up to Scientology and helped multiple people deprogram from Scientology by holding interventions. He's dealt with the Moonies, that Waco cult, the Branch Davidians, cult after cult after cult. Rick Allen Ross has been involved in helping to get people out of it. Thank you, Nancy, for sharing the link earlier. I appreciate it. The Rick Allen Ross one. So now he's on Wired answering these cult questions. Look at this, you guys.
And people born into or raised in cults be deprogrammed. It's got to be so much harder, right? This can be done, but it's a difficult process. Children are dependent upon their parents to protect them and keep them safe. And when parents are themselves overwhelmed and controlled by a cult, who is there to protect these children? And there have been many cults that have horribly abused children. There is a man, Paul McKenzie, going through a criminal trial in Kenya. He is responsible for over 400 deaths. Almost 200 were children. He told his followers in the Good News International Church the end was near and that they needed to pray and fast.
I think it's so interesting what he was saying about, growing up in it. Of course, because I grew up in Scientology, that one caught my attention. But I love this video. They've got all the timestamps, which reminds me I need to get caught up on my timestamps. And then there's this part on
how does cult
how deprogramming works, which was interesting. Give this a listen.
Programming work. Can we get started now? A deprogramming begins as a surprise. Someone comes to visit with their family. There's some type of get together. In the beginning, the person may be rather upset about that. Why did you not tell me this was coming? Well, the reason is because then you would share that with other people in the group, and they very likely would keep you from participating. You're asking them to unplug from the group during that period of time, which means all electronic devices, all access to the internet, no texting with other members. There are 4 blocks of conversation in a cult deprogramming intervention. The first one is defining what is a destructive cult.
I think that's such a key point because I can speak from my experience in Scientologists don't know they're in a cult. I think it would stand to reason that most people in a cult don't know they're in a cult. They don't define a cult as what they're experiencing. And it never ceases to amaze me how many Scientologists, case in point, Elizabeth Moss, the actress in The Handmaid's Tale, my never in friends, never in Scientology, but all in on bringing down this cult. And my former Scientology friends, you guys must have noticed while watching The Handmaid's Tale, like, did that stick out to you? Like, this girl in real life is in an actual cult, the cult of Scientology. And then she's in this show where she's playing a character where everything has turned into this cult, and the similarities between her life in Gilead there on The Handmaid's Tale, or maybe you read the book by Margaret Atwood, and in Scientology, there are some serious similarities. And how do you not connect the dots? Scientologists will see something and go like, oh, Branch Davidians, total cult, but not see that about themselves. And part of that, I believe, is because Scientology has this like hierarchy. And the higher up you go, the more information you gain, not just about the beliefs of Scientology, like learning about Xeno and body thetans, but the higher up you go, you're exposed to more information about what Scientology itself is up to. The everyday public Scientologist is not going to know what the C organization member who works in Religious Technology Center knows. And the higher up you go in Scientology, the more and intense the abuse becomes, because the more you know about in Scientology, the more they're going to just clamp down and try to keep you where you are, like Shelley Miscavige. I don't think that girl's going anywhere, even if she wanted to, but I question if she even wants to, because if David Miscavige is smart, which I know he's not, if we're going to talk about him, we should have him here. I don't want a third party, as we call in Scientology. David Miscavige, wake up your Office of Special Affairs. Day before Thursday, we all know it's Thanksgiving and a holiday tomorrow, but for the Office of Special Affairs, it means nothing. If you are a Scientology staff member or a Sea Org member, it's still going to be Thursday before 2. Thursday before 2. So the higher you go up, the more that you know, the more Scientology is going to hold on to you, the harder they're going to go at you if you leave to discredit you. We've seen this happen time and time and time again over decades, really. So Scientologists, your everyday Scientologists, don't know all of this. They're also not allowed to look at anything on the internet. So they don't know that. And many of you ask, how do they continue in Scientology even though it's a human trafficking cult? Because they don't know that. They don't see it as human trafficking. When a Scientologist takes their 16-year-old and goes, okay, you can go into the Sea organization, or your 14-year-old, as was the case with my own sister, when she was trafficked from Hawaii into the Sea organization to become free labor for Scientology with no guardian, no school, nobody taking care of her, just on her own. And the farther you go up, the more you learn and about like all of the secrets of Scientology. So when you come out, then, you know, you're, and if you're speaking about it, those tend to be the people they harass more because they're afraid of what they're going to say, which is so dumb. Because I mean, come on, there's so much out about Scientology, Office of Special Affairs. I just feel like, just let it go, man. Just let it go. Like, this is happening. Scientology is shrinking, and we are about to look at some videos that's really going to bring that point home, you guys. We are going to look at a few things that I think you're going to find very interesting. But if you get a chance after this, I'm going to link down below all of the articles and videos that we're talking about. Go check out that Rick Allen Ross one. That's a good one. Okay, before we get into some icky Scientology stuff that I'm going to show you, let's take a look at this article that I was wondering if any of this is going to surprise you guys from this list here. Hold on, we're going to look at it, and then you guys can tell me in the live chat if you're on the replay. Hit like, hit subscribe, and get into those comments. Participation is mandatory. Hey, Eric Rader, good morning. I'm glad you're here. Okay, look at this. 24 Hollywood celebs who reportedly worship at the altar of Scientology. Now, in the chat, in the comments, if there's someone that you're not aware of on this list, go ahead and put their name in the chat. I'm very curious as to if any of this will surprise you. I don't think any surprised me. Elizabeth Moss, John Travolta, we know that. Emily Armstrong, been in the news lately. Hardcore Scientologist. I'm so glad she's on this list because it's true. She is. John Travolta, we know about that, although I feel like Kelly Preston was the more hardcore one. Catherine Bell, we know about that. She does all those Hallmark movies. And I got to digress for just a second, you guys. I know I have thrown shade at Hallmark movies in the past. Maybe you guys don't remember, and I'm bringing this up, and I probably just you would have forgotten about it. But I did. I threw shade at Hallmark movies. Here's the deal, because I'm always like, I don't like romantic comedies, blah, blah, blah. I like zombie movies or alien invasions. Anything post-apocalyptic is totally what I'm into. Well, I watched 2 movies on Netflix. Now, granted, they're not Hallmark movies, but they're kind of within that theme, I guess. I watched Hot Frosty. Anybody see Hot Frosty? And then I watched, what was it called? Merry Gentlemen. Now, these aren't full-blown Hallmark because the second one has like some, male dancing in it. But still, I think, are these what Hallmark movies are like? Because I like those movies specifically that it was around Christmas. And now I have this fear that I actually secretly on the inside like Hallmark movies, or specifically the Christmas ones. So I'm going to go watch some and I'm going to figure it out. And I'm opening myself up. I am open to the idea that I might actually like it. And I don't know, you guys, that would be really off brand. I mean, post-apocalyptic anything and then a Hallmark movie. And it could just be the stage of my life that I'm into, just something that's like funny and light and doesn't involve a lot of thinking or jacking up my nervous system. And that's the other thing I realized why I think I was drawn to these more Hallmarky style movies lately is, even though I love my post-apocalyptic and zombie stuff, when I'm settling down for the day in the evening, and if I want to relax, I'm finding these days that my nervous system is already jacked, right? It's been a hell of a year. As you guys know, I lost my dad this year. I lost Tony, my partner of 11 years. I don't need anything adding to jacking up my nervous system, right? And these like Hallmarky movies just kind of calm it down, and it's an easy watch, kind of like how I like the Golden Girls, I think. So that's what I think I think that's what's up with that. Simply Tim says Hallmark cult. Maybe y'all might need to be having a what do you call an intervention? You might need to call Rick Allen Ross and be like, Natalie Webster of Scientology Life After a Cult is in the Hallmark cult now. I don't know. I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, Kristen, Hot Frosty. It's about this snowman that's in the shape of a attractive male body who actually comes to life, hence Hot Frosty. Yeah, male dancing. Male dancing. It is. I gotta say too, I did not hate it. So anyways, made me think about that because Catherine Bell is on this list and she does those Hallmark movies. Catherine Bell is like She is openly a lesbian, and somehow Scientology is kind of like being okay with it, at least for now. But behind the scenes, we know they absolutely are not. For some reason, Scientology goes lighter on the lesbians than they do men who are gay. I don't know why that is, but seems to be the case. Maybe David Miscavige is less threatened by a woman who's a lesbian than a man who is gay. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why that is. It just seems that lesbians in Scientology are getting a little bit of a pass. Emily Armstrong, Catherine Bell, versus their male counterparts who really don't seem to get a pass. They don't. Okay, so Elizabeth Moss, we know about her. I wasn't surprised. I forgot about this one. Ann Archer. You guys remember Ann Archer? What is she doing? Is she still alive? I hope so. She was a Scientologist for decades. Ann Archer is the mother of Tommy Davis. Tommy Davis was the Scientology spokesperson after Mike Rinder. Tommy Davis was the person who went on Tom Cruise's honeymoon with Katie Holmes as Tom Cruise's handler. Tommy Davis, Ann Archer's son, is also the person. Not that I'm butthurt about this. Okay, I am massively butthurt about this. When I did a story with the Tampa Bay Times about women in the Sea organization, married couples being coerced and forced to end their pregnancies when they did not want to, did that story with the Tampa Bay Times, and Tommy Davis chimed in with the response from Scientology. None of this is true. It's all lies. So that's Tommy Davis, son of Ann Archer, who I forgot about actually. So interesting point there. Marisol Nichols. She runs a human trafficking, anti-human trafficking organization. She did a lot with Tim Ballard, and she does a lot with Scientology. So I don't know, fill in the blank there. Tom Cruise, blah, blah, blah. Of course, we know about him. The Masterson brothers, not a surprise. Is this Alana? Alana Masterson. So another Masterson. She's been in The Walking Dead. And another, wait, isn't Alana Masterson also, does she identify as a lesbian? Can somebody tell me in the chat? Because she'd be another one if she's still an active Scientologist, where Scientology is just being quiet about it. Michael Pena, I knew about him. Erica, what's her name? Erica Christensen. You don't see much about her, but total Scientologist. What's his name? Giovanni Ribisi and Marissa. Scientology family. Not surprised there. This guy, Jason Doring. That might surprise some of you because he was in wasn't he in that Riverdale, something like that show? Michelle Stafford, she was in some soap operas that I remember, but you really, again, we don't hear Nancy Cartwright. She's still shilling for Scientology. But think about some of these celebrities, these Scientology celebrities, we don't actually see doing much for Scientology. Jenna Elfman, she was in The Walking Dead, and Darmaine Gregg. Juliette Lewis. Sometimes I hear she's still a Scientologist, and other times I hear that she's not. So I don't know. And Ethan Suplee. He was on My Name is Earl. He was just in that movie, Let's Create a Cult, or How to Start a Cult. Did you guys see it? I watched it the other day. I thought it was actually quite funny. It's one you got to pay for. Yeah, Be Merry for Life. So that one's a surprise to you. Okay. I'm going to catch up on the comments here, but let's finish this list. This is Lindsay Bartleson. Apparently she was on some show when she was younger. What was she in? Famous for her role as Lily on Grounded for Life. Don't know if that one's a surprise to you. Danny Masterson's former wife, Bijou. I question if she's still an active Scientologist. Dougie Fresh. Okay, who remembers Dougie Fresh? Oh, I didn't have this pulled up, did I? Okay, let me back it up a little bit, you guys. I did not have this pulled up. Where did I leave off? Ethan Suplee. Lindsay Bartleson, this one here. This one might be a surprise to some of you, especially if you watched her when she was younger, or maybe you got kids that watched it. Danny Masterson's former wife, Bijou. Again, I don't know how active she is. Dougie Fresh from the 80s. But another one I've not heard anything about in a long time in regard to Scientology. So I don't know. If you guys have heard something, let me know. Natalie at liveafteraccult.com or jump in the chat. Greta von Susteren, Scientologist, big one. Been on multiple different news channels as a news anchor. Okay, so is that 24? Are these numbered? They're not. Wait, well, those are the ones we're looking at. So let's see. Let me scroll quick here. Was anybody surprised? Let's see here. Nancy says, was more surprised when it was revealed that Tara Chambler, Elena Masterson, was actually a lesbian in a relationship with fellow survivor Alicia. Oh, Tara Chamberlain was actually a lesbian in a relationship with fellow survivor Alicia. Is this in the show? Are these their names in the show, Nancy? Because I've not watched The Walking Dead in a while. They kind of lost me after a while. But let me know, Nancy. Okay, let's catch up with you guys here. Vanessa says, I stared at Ann Archer's poster in the New York org quite a bit, never knowing who she was. You're looking at it like, who is this bitch? Who is this? I don't know who this is. Oh. Exactly, T. Imagine having Tommy Davis on your honeymoon. That had to have been one of the first red flags for Katie Holmes. Let's be honest. You're on this billionaire's yacht because they were on their honeymoon on James Packer's yacht. James Packer is an Australian, billionaire, real billionaire, not Grant Cardone billionaire, but real billionaire. And that was back in the day when Tom Cruise and James Packer were like buddy, and he was trying to get him into Scientology. In fact, I think that he did a little bit of Scientology for some time, and then that ended. And then James Packer ended up dating Mariah Carey. Remember when she was engaged to Mariah Carey? That was something, but that didn't last. But yeah, Katie Holmes, that should have been one of, not the first red flags, but had to have been on her list. I'm looking forward to the day that girl does a tell all and she's like, yeah, and then Tommy Davis came on our honeymoon. Because that's not weird. That's when we all got to look at Tommy Davis's Sea Org tattoo. Because I think it was in one of those pictures. Okay, Nancy says, while the news came as a welcome surprise to many fans of AMC's most popular series, it was more surprising when it was revealed that Tara Chambler, Elena Masterson, was actually a lesbian in a relationship with fellow survivor Alicia. Okay, so in the show as well. Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if she's one of those okay, my family are Scientologists, so I'm just going to be quiet, but I'm going to kind of go on and do my own thing. Could be. She could be under the radar. I don't know. Maybe. We may never know. We're totally going to find out. We're totally going to know. Ooh, Gold Badge Farm. I'm glad you're here. What are you doing today? Catching up, taking care of the horses? Nice. Get the horse trailer and truck decorated for our county's Christmas parade. Oh, that sounds amazing. Sharona says, I stopped watching a series in the middle of it when I found out Penna was a Scientologist. I guess the show wasn't that good in the first place. Mock says, Bijou Phillips, had her daughter do first communion, so she's very likely out. The Catholics don't play by faithfully. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. You're right. She did. And that is definitely in the column of not a Scientologist anymore. Because my mom, when we were leaving Scientology, my mom got baptized into Christianity. And, people wrote knowledge reports on her for it. In fact, my daughter in Florida got pulled aside. Shelby did. And your grandmother got baptized. This is not okay. Your family is off the rails. And, they weren't lying. They were right. We had more than one foot out the door. I just still had to get Shelby out. Afterwards, I was like, yeah, you were right about that. We were all disaffected. We all wanted to leave. We were talking mad smack about Scientology every time, telling anybody who would stand still long enough. So you're right about that. SP Crusader, how did Nancy Cartwright survive the Xenu episode? In The Simpsons? Did The Simpsons do a Xenu episode? I know South Park did. Oh, wait a minute. This is coming back to me. Okay, I'm going to need your guys' help. Kelly Copter did a video about this, about where The Simpsons did an episode, but I think it got taken out, didn't it? Somebody who knows, can you jump in the chat and update us? If you remember, Kelly Copter did a video on that, and I think they actually took the episode out, but I'm not 100% on that. I'm not. Stasia says, I hate the Hallmark movies. Lame, lame, lame. I always did too. Maybe it's part of my grief. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like it before either, and now I do. I don't know what's happening to me. I don't. Vanessa says, my mom returned to the Catholic Church in the years before she died because Scientology declared her an illegal PC due to the cancer and washed their hands of her. Vanessa, that's such BS, and I'm so sorry about your mom. An illegal pre-clear, for those who don't know, is someone who's not allowed to receive Scientology auditing. And actually, that was probably worked in your mother's favor, because God only knows what they would have done reverse auditing wise. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's see. Let's go to, okay, let's move on here. Now we're going to jump topics here and talk about growing up in Scientology. Erin did this video about the big trouble at the company hired to guard Shelley Miscavige, Talent Executive Services. And you guys have probably seen them sometimes, especially if you see any footage from Scientology Media Productions, which, side note here, how come almost nobody protests at Scientology Media Productions? They're there in Hollywood. It's predominantly where David Miscavige is going to be. Yet you don't really see too many people going over there to Scientology Media Productions. You can look it up on Google and you can see it. You can see it. Mitch Brisker, who's also here on YouTube, has talked a lot about it. And I think he's gone out there, but I'm just curious why nobody's live streaming over there, because seems like, I don't know, I feel like David Miscavige would really hate that if you did that. And you know me, I'm not trying to give him a hard time. Just curious about that. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this. This was so juicy, you guys. You got to watch the whole video. We're just going to look at a clip.
You know what Scientology Media Productions is? Scientology Media Productions is it's basically just a giant film studio in downtown Hollywood. And according to some people, it is actually David Miscavige's primary place of operation these days. The security guard assigned to SMP by Talent Executive Services is a guy by the name of Antonio. And Antonio likes posting videos to his Instagram from Scientology Media Productions. And I just think that is so unbelievably hilarious. And I think it's something that would drive David Miscavige into fits of rage if he knew that this was happening, that I'm dying to share this with you guys. So
this is like Christmas, you guys. This is Christmas. Because remember, Scientology Media Productions is where, when David Miscavige is in town, that is where he is.
Oh, here's Antonio's Instagram. Outer Limits Operator. He calls himself a big city cowboy. All right. And there are, let me see if I need to switch the screen share. Okay. He posts videos literally from the roof of Scientology Media Productions. Okay. Now, you wouldn't know it, but I'm going to show you how you can know it. Let me scroll down here. Admittedly, this was a while ago, but I don't care. It's still on his Instagram. Okay, so note the Del Taco. Okay, the Del Taco is important here. Oh, there's no audio.
Homeless individual harassing people in the drive-thru, coughing on them, spitting on them, trying to get free food or money. He's not allowing the business to function unless he gets what he wants. And I don't know if he has a mask on or not. He's dressed as a bunny.
Okay, that's not as interesting as the next one. Okay, check this out.
It just goes on and on. This guy was like posting from the Scientology Media Productions building. This is a bad, bad thing in the eyes of Scientology and in the eyes of David Miscavige, who is just not going to be down with this. And all I can say is I wish I could be a fly on the wall when he finds out or found out, because this video was out yesterday. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see this guy's social media shut down. It's not that it was showing anything, well, or at least he'll be let go. I'm just saying, like, this is not something that will please dear leader. You know what I'm saying? Ham It Up says, I'm still kicking myself for not protesting at the Celebrity Center when I was in Los Angeles. How did I miss that? Yes. Celebrity Center is another good one where Scientology doesn't want people. Let's be honest. They don't want people anywhere. They don't. But there are some places that they really don't want you. And Scientology Media Productions is one of those. Celebrity Center too, because that's embarrassing for them to have these opinion leaders, as they're called in Scientology, right? Thought leaders and celebrities and people of influence to come and go and see protesters out there or live streamers. Yeah, that would be horrible. That'd be horrible if that happened for Scientology, if more people were out there live streaming at Celebrity Center. That'd just be the worst. Okay, so now let me see here. I got to show you guys. We have got to talk about, we're going to look at Scientology in Hollywood a few years ago and today, so you guys can really appreciate the progress that has been made in shutting down Scientology recruitment. For decades, people have been protesting Scientology. For several years, people have been live streaming Scientology on and off, including people from the First Amendment community. And I found some videos from a channel that we're going to take a look at that was doing exactly this, called News Now LAC, which I think is short for LA County. And this person was out there in front of the Hollywood Testing Center and the L. Ron Hubbard Life Exhibition. And I want to show you what it once looked like. And then we're going to look at what it looks like today after this recent round of live streaming and protesting outside Scientology. Now, last year, you guys know the story. Scientology audit, Streets LA, William Good, the Good Father, started live streaming in front of Scientology and invited people to do the same. Jessica Palmadessa came and she brought her over 1 million followers on TikTok. Confident Chris, so many others then ended up joining this. And during Winter Wonderland in Hollywood, it just became a frenzy of Scientology, of live streamers and protesters, letting people know that it was a cult. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the friendly looking Santa who's going to hand you Scientology propaganda. Don't fall for it. So look at this. This is from, I think it was 5 years ago. Was it 5 years ago? 5 years ago. This guy's going to look familiar to you guys. So this is in front of the Hollywood Testing Center 5 years ago. Okay. This is like how busy it was. They were recruiting. Look at this.
See, what's going on is the reason why they implemented this building here, specifically in Hollywood.
Doors are wide open. They're doing their thing. Dude is out there being security. This one is handing out Scientology propaganda, wearing his Scientology t-shirt. And a lot of people, you know, they don't know. Some of them are taking it. Some of them don't. They're trying to get people to go in and do personality tests and see films. And you have stress. I have answers. I've not seen that t-shirt in a long time. I got your back. And then there's the Scientology symbol. I'm sure you do. Doors wide open. That girl who just walked out, where is she? We haven't seen her in a long time. Right there. We have not seen her. She's going out to hand out some Scientology propaganda. But again, windows wide open, doors wide open, both doors. Who is that lady? There's all these people that make me go, where are they now? Where are these people? What are they doing? What happened to the people Scientology did have out there recruiting? So look at this now. So we take a look at that. Right? We saw how it was just 5 years ago. And this is a recent video from the other day from Dan Walks LA. The same Scientology Hollywood Testing Center. Look at that. Door. This is how we're used to seeing it today. Doors closed. They're the ones hiding in there now. How ironic is that, right? There was a time when some of us Scientologists would be hiding when they show up, and now Scientology themselves are hiding. The doors are shut. It's covered with paper. You can't even see in. Nobody is standing out there recruiting. Nobody. They're not out there doing it. They try to go to other areas, other locations, and then they're setting up for winter wonderland there. But what a difference in what it once was and what it is now. And it really got me wondering, where are these Sea Organization members? Where are they? When you think about it, we don't really see that many. We see some of the same ones. At the blue buildings, we see many older Sea Organization members. Like, where are they? This was just a few years ago, and there were quite a bit of young people. Did they already leave? Are they gone? Are they being held there? Just what's the deal? Napoleon, yes. LRH insisted on foot traffic determining locations. Yes. Even though David Miscavige in buying his buildings does not always follow that, but very much so, to recruit people. That's exactly why they do it, to get out there and recruit people. All right, so now let's look at the L. Ron Hubbard Life Exhibition from, again, just a few years ago. I haven't seen this girl. Did she live the Sea Org? Did she get in trouble? What's happening?
Do you want to come in?
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Do you have a face? You have a face?
Sir, please get out of my personal space.
I'm just asking you, filming me?
I feel threatened.
Hollywood.
I feel threatened. Please get out of my personal space.
So he's out there trying to put himself between, the raw meat, as Scientology calls them, and the Scientology recruiter, and get in the way of the camera, doing that maniacal Tom Cruise laughing. What is up with that? It just looks a little nutty.
You're getting in my space.
It looks like you're disconnected from reality because you obviously don't know that you're getting into my personal space.
But, there's someone at the desk. There's a security guard. There was a person recruiting outside. And again, this is L. Ron Hubbard's Life Exhibition. So even there, they were recruiting out front, taking advantage of that traffic going back and forth. It is a huge area where Scientology has been recruiting for years. And now it is pretty much shut down. They can no longer recruit in front of the L. Ron Hubbard Life Exhibition. They can no longer recruit in front of the Scientology Hollywood Testing Center because of people showing up, live streaming, protesting. They just cannot do it anymore. So let's take a look today at the L. Ron Hubbard Life Exhibition that we just saw years ago, where they were recruiting out of there, handing out Dianetics material, just like at the testing center. So recruiting at multiple locations there. And let's go back to Dan Walks LA, who was just there the other day. Look at this. Barely any lights on. Nobody's there. And this isn't just a one-off, you guys. This is how it is all the time. Nobody is there. You don't rarely see somebody there. And when you do, there might be a receptionist, and then she goes and she hides under the desk. But they are definitely not out there recruiting anymore. L. Ron Hubbard Life Exhibition. At least right now, they don't have the windows and the stuff all covered up, which my guess is because nobody's there. Nobody's there. So here's a question that I'm posing to you guys. Here is a theory that I have. One, we know they're not that out there recruiting because of the live streaming and the protesting. But two, where are the staff? Were they sent somewhere else, or did they leave the Sea Organization? Are they all being punished somewhere? But don't you think it's weird that we went from seeing them kind of all over the place regularly to we almost never see them now? So they're either hiding, which we know they are to a degree, or they're hiding people, or they're gone and they just don't have the staff. And that's why L. Ron Hubbard's life exhibition never has anybody there. They can't staff it. It could be the same thing with the Scientology Hollywood Testing Center. They can't staff it. They don't want Sea Org members being seen because people will see on the video and go, oh my gosh, that's my cousin. That's my uncle. Susan, yes, I love Dan Walks LA. Absolutely. Hopefully you guys are checking out the music that he's been putting out as well. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. Does it matter to you? Not to me. TR's training routines remove the ability to acknowledge personal space. That is so correct. That is a great point. Do you guys remember when Aaron Smith-Levin went into, which one was it? The Bel Air Mission in Florida. And that lady got right up in his face with the Xenu eyes. You see that a lot where a Scientologist will get right up in your face with the Xenu eyes. No personal space. That is part of the training routines. The buttons you have about personal space are flattened when you are a Scientologist because you spend hours and hours and hours having a coach bullbait you, get in your face, get in your space so that it doesn't bother you. So that when you're a Scientologist and a Scientologist or a Sea Org member gets in your face, you don't have such a negative reaction to it. It's desensitizing you to having personal space. You start feeling like, and my former Scientology friends chime in on this one, because tell me if this happened to you too. This was my experience in growing up in Scientology, and the more indoctrinated I became, is I didn't feel I had a right to my personal space. They did. I had no autonomy. Very different today. Very different today. But that is a huge part of it. And that's why I think we see this. And then when the Scientologist responds in a way that's like getting in your space and it's very culty and then it's online, it exposes them even more. And even Scientology's got to go, we're looking a little weird. So Power Lies to Paralyze thinks they're all being punished. Could be. It very well could be. Does it matter to you? Not to me. I think they move their recruitment somewhere we haven't found yet. That is also true. Because let me tell you this, Scientology doesn't stop. They're not known for putting down the pitchforks and like, okay, we'll be a little less culty. They're not. They don't stop. They're like the Borg. They assimilate. They will consume anything in their path that they can use as a resource. Being human beings used for human trafficking, your finances, your children, they will consume. They are totally like the Borg. What was that in Star Trek or Star Wars? Star Trek. It was in Star Trek. Trekkie people are probably hating me right now that I even confused the two. My apologies to your community. Nisa says, what state are those two Scientologists in? Are they out of it and don't know where they are? No, they know where they are. They just don't have the tools to respond like a normal human being and just go, hey, what's happening here? Oh, I'm a First Amendment auditor, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you do you. Now, even if they start saying things that are against Scientology, it's like there's other ways to handle it, but they can't. So now all of the staff and security and things are being hidden away from these cameras because they don't know how to respond. They ineffectively respond. All they do is provide content. So I think all of this is actually true. I think Scientology is hiding their staff, especially Sea Org members. I think many Sea Org members have left and they're just not there to man these areas. I think that it's all true. And I think that a bunch of them are being punished too. And I think that Scientology knows that their people can't handle it. They can't. That's why they're using outside security now. That was never a thing back in my day. Gather around for a back in my day. Back in my day at the Blue Buildings, there was no, at least when I was there, external security being hired. Sea Org security was there and they are still there, but they are not the ones interacting anymore with people live streaming and protesting. It's outside security. Why is that? What are your guys' theory on why Scientology is using more and more outside security instead of using Scientologists or Scientology security. Think about that. Think about that. Wendy, I miss you. Windy City Thetan Watch out of Chicago. In my opinion, protesting is effective, period. Exactly. Live streaming and protesting Scientology is the mirror that is shining it back on them. Boom, boom, boom. Put out what you want, Scientology. We're turning it back on you. We are all surrounded by mirrors and they are turned around. You're the ones looking culty and you're being called out on it. Yeah, totally. I think it's, yep. Deanna Ross, got to keep the mushrooms in the dark. Yes. So, you know what? Let's now look at, I'm going to share something with you guys here. We go from the icky to something a little bit more funny, but I am going to catch up on your comments here. Justine says, we have influence on their own people. They could be triggered to leave the cult of Scientology. Totally true. Rika says, and Rika protests out in Portland, armed security with no ID who blocked me on the sidewalk and also got way too close to me. It's BS. Yes, I remember seeing that video, Rika, and it was very telling. That was not a Scientology security. It was outside security that they hired. Why? To move furniture in a building. Rika, right? That day, they were moving furniture into a building. You need outside security for that? Bringing in security at the blue buildings during public events who are armed and look like they're showing up to like a Waco raid is next level. I have not seen this if it's happened before, not during my time. Now, personally, I have a theory on this too. I think Scientology is up to something because you'll notice they've not been calling the police as much as they used to, especially at the blue buildings. They're up to something because let me tell you, Scientology doesn't not do something. They don't. They are up to something. Everybody be alert and don't break the law and just, watch yourselves and each other if you're out there live streaming and protesting Scientology because I think they're up to something. All right, let's see. Yep, they have been shrinking for a while. And now it's like it's happening even faster thanks to all this live streaming and protesting of Scientology, which I just love so much. Joe says too, I've noticed that too, Natalie, sneaky Scientos. Yeah. Especially the C organization, they don't not do something about things. So if they're it looks to me like they're letting some things happen. In LA, in Hollywood specifically, they're letting some things happen and they're capturing it on video. And I think they're doing something. They don't not do something. I just can't shake that. You guys tell me what you think. In the meantime, we are going to look at 30 Scientology holiday traditions that might make you consider converting. You guys have to tell me. You have to tell me if this would make you convert to Scientology. Okay, so let's see. Again, this thing is being weird. I put it in that remove ads thing, but let's try and refresh it. But it ends up not today. It is malfunctioning. Okay, here we go. This is better. Let's see. So yes, the holidays are upon us. There's a rumor out there that Scientology, a legitimate tax-exempt religious organization, lacks the fun, rich holiday traditions of a Christmas or Hanukkah. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, whoever told you that is probably a suppressive person jealous of our tech, and you should cut them out of your life completely. Here are just 30 time-honored Scientology holiday traditions that will have you saying Christ is a lie orchestrated by modern psychology to impede me from achieving true actualization in this lifetime. Number 1, a photo with L. Ron Hubbard. You guys could you can't get a photo anymore with L. Ron Hubbard because he is deceased and has been, but you could take a picture with him and a bust at a Scientology organization. The kids hunt for Shelley Miscavige. So this, you know what? It's believable that this could be a Scientology tradition there. Open your presents, kids. Now let's go hunt for Shelley Miscavige. Watch Days of Thunder. Okay, even when I was in Scientology, we didn't have a tradition of watching a Tom Cruise movie, but big but. In the Sea Organization, they would often, when there was a Tom Cruise movie or when Battlefield Earth came out, you get sent to go watch it. So you do get to see a movie. And even if it's a sucky movie like Battlefield Earth, at least you got to get out of your job there and go watch a movie. So that actually is a tradition. If there's a Tom Cruise movie out, that though, I don't know today because people are watching Sea Organization members. I bet they don't take them to the movies anymore. Write a holiday wish list to John Travolta and some threats. Who needs Santa Claus when you've got the star of Saturday Night Fever? Every year, the Scientology Celebrity Center is flooded with letters from children telling John what gifts they want this year and reminding him that they know a thing or two about certain sexual predilections he may or may not have that he definitely wants to keep under wraps. The harassment of a psychiatrist. It's kind of like the 12 days of Christmas of Scientology. Go harass some psychiatrists together as a family. That's right. Get some hot chocolate, right? Open those presents and then go harass some psychiatrists. That sounds like it could be a believable Scientology tradition. Sign another billion-year contract. Sadly, most accolades, the cult of Scientology, are happy to just sign the 1 billion-year contract and call it a day. But real Scientologists understand that ridding yourself of alien volcano ghosts means total commitment. It's the season of giving, so why not go ahead and pledge another billion years of servitude to this cult? Could be. That's right. That's right, Bina. Kiss your money goodbye. Rank your enemies and pledge to destroy them. As altruistic purveyors of truth, Scientologists have a lot of high-profile enemies, and attacking them all would be a full-time job. Instead, why not pick a personal top 5 and focus on them? No one expects you to go back into hitting you at the airport, urinate on William S. Burroughs' grave, and leave threatening voicemails on Katie Holmes' phone all in 1 year. Just harass back and mess with a few lower level, more accessible, suppressive persons in your area. That's right. That's actually hilarious. You could make it a sport in Scientology of harassing suppressives. I'm pretty sure they do. Battlefield Earth pageant. Oh my God, God help us if that actually was a thing. IRS agent dirt dig. Is that something that multiple Scientology families could be doing? Cats hate cults. Thank you for being a member for 8 months. Happy Thanksgiving, Natalie, Farrell, Cheryl, chat, and mods. Wishing you all a peaceful day. Yeah, I think this one, IRS agent dirt dig, could actually be a thing. Sure, the cult has tax exempt status for now, but a little insurance in the form of sensitive information goes a long way to keeping it for decades to come. Do you have hard evidence that an IRS employee has been unfaithful to their spouse or has a drinking problem? Send it Miscavige's way. Yeah, that's pretty much how they got their tax exempt status. So that one kind of plays. Tell us if you've ever had unkind thoughts about L. Ron Hubbard or David Miscavige. Have you? You need to tell us. It's for your own good. So a good, Scientology holiday interrogation. I guess that's also on the list. Watch Vanilla Sky. Now, offer free e-meter readings to the poor, but like poor as in misfortunately ignorant, not actual poor. So yeah, get your e-meter out, Scientologists, go do some pinch tests and all of those things. Maybe you can sell some Dianetics books. Ay caramba, it's Nancy Cartwright. You better be good all year, kids, or the voice of Bart Simpson will throw you in a burlap sack and volunteer you for Sea Org duty. Try to break Danny Masterson out of jail. This also sounds like it could be a list of Scientology games for 2025. It's the newest Scientology holiday tradition, sort of like our elf on a shelf. Okay, I think there's more of those. I'm going to link it down below, but that's about all that I can take there about that. Hug Hubbard kiosk at the mall. Oh my gosh, in Carnosol, that would be a crazy one. Hey, Brian. Up in the north, I'm glad you made it, and I'm glad you're catching the replay. Hit that like. Make sure you're subscribed. Be merry for life. Hey, good to see you. Kiss your money goodbye. That's right. That would be one. Absolutely. Absolutely. IRS has some dirt, certainly. Exactly. And Scientology has dirt on the IRS. The IRS people that Scientology allegedly blackmailed to get their tax exempt status. I wonder if they're even still there. You know, has there been a changing of the guards at this point? Like, how long do we need to keep up this charade? The charade. I don't know why I like that word, charade. I'm going to start saying it like that. Does that get you up the bridge? No, but here's the thing. When you are a Scientologist and you are doing things against the enemies of Scientology, you keep track and you show evidence of it to Scientology. Why? Because if you are trying to get on the upper levels of Scientology, you have to show your commitment. You got to prove it that you're like Tom Cruise level dedicated to Scientology. And the holidays are not an excuse to be slacking. No, they are not. You got to be on it. You got to be. Now I'm going to be busy. I am picking up Feral Cheryl later this afternoon and watching videos on how to make a turkey. But Feral Cheryl said she knows how to make a turkey. So between Feral Cheryl and my daughter and myself, we're going to figure it out. We're going to do something called brining. I think we do that tomorrow. But I picked up the turkey yesterday and it was really hard. We had a members only live chat yesterday and I shared this. Tony always made the turkey. And so I went and I picked up the turkey. Like carrying this, and by the time I got to my car, I was just a mess. And I know it's going to be on and off like that for me. I did not expect the holidays were going to be as hard. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know why I think I'm somehow immune to the normal process of grief. I am not. It's been really up and down lately. That's why I got the puffy eyes, you people. This is like from my on and off crying. But what I'm noticing is the more that I process it and I work through it, even during like right now when it's kind of tough, the better it is. It's like some steam gets let go and then I feel like I can function again. So that's just kind of how it's going to go. And I warned Feral Cheryl ahead of time. We're going to have so much fun. There's also going to be some on and off crying as we do Thanksgiving for the first time. Oh, damn it. And I know it's going to be hard. It's already hard. But, you know, I'm also so incredibly grateful that I have all of you, that we have this community, and that showing up every day and exposing Scientology and sharing my story is something that brings me so much joy and makes me happy. And that has been a lifesaver for me to be able to show up and do this each day. Oh, I'm finally getting smart and just leaving the Kleenexes out like all the time. Sometimes I put them away. But I just know that if I just keep showing up and I keep working through it and processing my grief and finding a way to experience the holidays without him, and it's going to be really hard. I don't know why I thought it wasn't going to be hard, but it is. And I just wanted to thank all of you for being here for that and for supporting me through this. It's been about 5 months now. I mean, soon in a couple weeks, it's going to be 6 months. How it's been half a year since he died, I have no idea. It's still, right now it feels like I feel like I'm in week 3 or 4 from when he first died. And I think that's why I thought the holidays weren't going to be a difficult thing, because I thought, well, I'm doing better. I'm processing my grief. I'm using my tools. The closer we got to Thanksgiving, the worse it got. And I'm just going to do my best to work through it and embrace it and create some new memories and traditions while also remembering all of the beautiful times that we had together. And I know that so many of you here have lost people too in the last few years or even this year. Many of you, because we talk about it. And in Carnisol, you're right. No timetable for grief. Holidays are especially hard. That's right, James. Still, every first is horrible. And it is. It just sucks balls. It's just sucky. And I'm learning that there's just not a way around that. It's just gonna suck at times. And it's gonna be so incredibly painful. And then it's going to ease up. And there's hours and days that are easier. And then it sucks again. And then it gets easier. And so far, that has been my whole walking this path of grief and working through this. And I know that that's just going to continue for some time. But I also want to make sure that I don't, avoid it. I want to remember, I want to celebrate when he was here, the many Thanksgivings and Christmas and stuff that we had, and the memories that we created together, even when it wasn't a holiday. And I want to share that. And hopefully, it's just a rough holiday. I realize it's not just rough for me, it's rough for my entire family. And I think that makes it particularly hard too, because we don't want to see the people we care about suffer. I feel like I can shoulder it, but I can't. I can't protect my kids from it. I can't protect Tony's kids from it. Our other family is just something that we're going to have to go through, and we're going to go through it together, and we're going to go through it with so many of you, whether you like it or not. But I appreciate all of you. And Sharona says, grief makes happy memories painful. As time goes by, the smile from the memory will stay longer and longer before the tears come. It's so hard. And if any of you two are going through your own process with grief, you lost somebody, whether it's your first time or your 50th time without somebody you care about, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you keep showing up, because I am motivated every day to show up. This is like my accountability in doing these videos that make me happy to do, to be honest. But it really helps me get me going each day and out of bed. Because I honestly questioned how often that I would get out of bed. But I am. And excuse me. I am, and I'm trying to embrace the idea that I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. And I know that will come. And some days it feels like that. And other days it just feels like, I'm just not going to ever leave the house again. But I have rules around that. Every 48 hours, I have to see people that are not in my family, and I have to leave the house. Sometimes I go 3 days, but I work from home predominantly. And I'm trying not to stick to that. Cats, bats, and flowers. My mom died in December 2020. I know why she picked the day. My turkey dressing hasn't been right since. I am so sorry for your loss. Your turkey dressing hasn't been right since. Yeah, I feel that. This will be, Tony did most of the cooking, but we're going to figure it out. And I'm going to share it with you guys, because that also seems to be part of my healing, is I have to embrace it and share it for me. Because as a former Scientologist, it can be very difficult to do that. It's hard. It's really hard for me to, be vulnerable in ways. It's not how I was brought up to be. And I'm learning that the only way to get through these difficult times is to be vulnerable. And I'm getting so much more comfortable with that. And my hope is that in sharing what I'm going through, then maybe other people don't feel alone who are going through it, especially during the holidays. So I'm going to try and do some really fun content, and maybe some, sad content, all in the coming days as we get through Thanksgiving. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, though, because Feral Cheryl's coming. Like I said, I'm going to pick her up this afternoon. Incarnasoul, supporting your family members in their grief, letting them support you is healing. It really is. Thank you, Jersey Jan. Grief is normal and nothing bad. Be open about it to heal eventually. That is the biggest lesson that I'm learning here, is that being open about it and talking about it with you guys is a way. It does help me so much move through it, because I talk about it. And it's nice to be able to talk about it with two, I have immediate people in my life, but with all of you, because so many of you got to know Tony. You did. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Boxer Heather, thank you so much. Thank you so much for those hearts. Thank you guys for your kind words. Susan, thank you for being a member for 9 months. I appreciate that. And if you guys know, we do a members only live stream Tuesdays around 4:00 is what we've been doing it. And memberships, basically, you get the members only live stream. We do some fun emojis, which I need to redo a bunch of them. If you have any suggestions, let me know. And it is a great way to help support my channel and help me be able to continue to do this. So if you guys feel so moved, you don't have to become a member of the channel. We do have fun on the members only live stream. It's not all just me crying. Although sometimes it starts out that way, but it ends really good. Cece says, yes, please share your day with us. Absolutely. Sick Vic says, it's 25 years today for my mom's passing. Still hard. Well, sending you lots of love. Those anniversaries are very difficult indeed. Pause for Andrea says, Tony made such an impact on us in the short time we got to know him. He knew you would need a community, even though you have your incredible family. He did. You guys remember? That's the thing he kept saying when he would come on and do videos with me, is how much this community would be here for me after. And that turned out to be completely true. And he's so smart that way. He was so smart that way. That's exactly how it ended up being. So we're going to continue to share this stuff, be there for each other. If the holidays are difficult for you, if they're great for you, whichever it is, keep showing up with me. We're going to have fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to expose Scientology. We're going to figure out life after a cult. We're going to figure out my life after a cult, after a loss, all of the things. We're going to figure it out. And that's right, Joe. You only cry for 2 minutes on a member's live and then it's laughter. That's what's great. Helps many people on those lives. I'm so glad. Thank you, Yadira. Hashtag Tony forever. Okay. I will check in with you guys later. Like I said, I'm going to grab Cheryl this afternoon. Everybody, please go over and hit that like button. Check your subscribe. And most importantly, you guys, I hope everybody gets out and has an amazing, absolutely amazing cult-free day.